Welcome to LOCKBEARD Phenomena number 146. Hold up, playa. It is May 2nd, 2024. Yeah, I'm running a few minutes late. Although that had nothing to do with what's going on here. It only slowed me up for a few seconds. Apparently, something went down here at the library. Some police cruisers and ambulance. I'll leave them alone for a few hours and come back to chaos. I tell you what, I'm not sure what happened. I just pulled back into the parking lot here, but I saw them bring out kind of a young-looking fella to the ambulance holding his nose. So I'm thinking of a fight of some kind. And there was a woman up here that went walking down the street there and ended up arguing with a dude down there loudly enough I could hear him. The dude, he was saying, well, he shouldn't have called him a N-word. Like he said it twice. I'm pretty sure that's what he said, twice. So the power of a stupid word, right? You say the wrong word, and next thing you know, you got emergency services all up in the library and shit. I'm not saying dude should have said it. I'm just saying. Settle down, everybody. Settle down. It's not. He didn't pull a weapon on anybody. All right. I mean, it's like Joe Rogan said. The best way to respond to bad speech is with good speech, right? Although in the case of that, maybe you might say some unkind things to the guy who used the N-word, but instead, no, let's take it straight to violence. Start kicking some ass. Oh well. It's a funny world. Grasshopper is starting to become his standard intro. Mr. Lee? Is Mr. Lee coming on live? Oh, no, he's not coming on live. I meant to find the comments about what that's all about. There's Mr. Lee. Volta BS, welcome. JT, welcome. This is what's up, everybody. JoJo's here, welcome. Let's see. Angel's here, welcome. Locky's getting docked. Docking my pay. Sleeping? No, there's no way in hell I'd be sleeping this time of day. 6 p.m. No, can't wait for Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee ain't gonna come live. Mr. Lee won't come live. Now that's about the thumbnail's about comments he made. Him and JT made. They disagree with my kind of loose conclusion. I don't know. Did I sound pretty certain about the conclusion? Because I don't know. I probably shouldn't have been 100% certain, but yeah, who said you're live? Ocean, welcome. Delta BS says more than likely he got a revival from Narcan. A revival from Narcan? What? A town called Malice. I saw his face on the thumbnail. Yeah, his face on the thumbnail. I sounded certain. Yes, I sounded certain. So I need to find. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can get the comments on this. Give me a minute. Well, let's see here. So on LOCKBEARD Phenomena number 144, orbs sucked MH370 into a portal. You shut up, you. So there were some comments down below. Where are the little comments? There they are. And of course, they're sitting there on the left. I'll just have to change my layout so y'all can see. Can I not get it any bigger? Yes, I can. There we go. That didn't sound right at all, did it? Hold on. Let's switch to this. No, this. Wait. I just completely disappear in that one. Where did I go? So, come on, computer, you can do it. It's a little hot. So, try and get some cross breeze going here. Are you kidding me? I seem to have accidentally closed the tab because the computer is being spastic and stuff. Oh my gosh. Hold on. I gotta bring it back up. Well, gotta redo this part as well. All right, y'all should be able to see it now. Still kind of small. I wish it wasn't so. They didn't make this so wide, and then you could zoom in closer on this, so you could see it better. But negatory. So Mr. Lee and JT commented on the video about MH370. And so Mr. Lee says, JT, well, I guess JT commented first. So JT says, hey, Lockie, sorry I missed this one live. I've been following the story of this MH330 orb teleportation business for a while, probably around 6 months or so. I know that at first glance, when you see the comparison that the Corridor crew did with the visual effect explosion next to the MH370 video portal thing, it does look very similar in their video, but I guarantee you, brother, I've been watching your videos for a long time, and I know you're a smart fucker. If you take a little bit deeper look at this portion of the debunk, you will undoubtedly come to the same conclusion I have, which is that the Corridor crew guys aren't just partially full of shit and misleading in their analysis, as you rightly caught and pointed out. They are full of shit in every aspect of it. Now, what's really impressive about this comment is hold on a second. is the unbelievable length of this fucking sentence right here. Yeah, I've been following the story of this comma probably around 6 months. So comma, there's a corridor created fish flex comma does look very similar comma comma. You can see it's he just don't he has no intention of ending this sentence anywhere, but he finally does. And he goes on to say, the truth is that the explosive blast waves have an uncanny ability to reproduce nearly identical or very similar visualizations when compared to one another. This is a known fact that the guy presenting the MH370 orb videos has addressed this very point and has a separate video explaining it. There are other independent content creators on YouTube that have shown this as well, having nothing to do with these vids, just showing blast waves from different explosions of various sources that line up almost perfectly. Isn't it kind of odd that the Corridor crew, when showing the VFX art side by side with the MH370 portal, only shows one corner of the blast? That's the portion that matches best. Check out that video that Ashton Forbes did where he goes into detail on that shit. You already know the debunkers straight up lied and purposely misled people in several parts of their vid. They dig a little deeper. The videos are real. And then Mr. Lee is way briefer up here, but he says, JT, that's what I'm saying. That matchup is just one of many explosive blast wave visualizations, and they all look the same. It's real. So they think that that is not a smoking gun that disproves, or I guess proves that the video was faked. So what does everybody think? The guy who went to the ambulance, the revival from Narcon. Oh, I don't know about that. Well, that's two people I know now who won't go on cam. Yeah, Mr. Lee's scared of the camera. Mr. Lee, he's scared of the camera. Won't go on cam. They may have gave him a nasal Narcon dose. And live before he missed it. Yeah, he did go live, but he didn't talk very much, and it was dark and stuff. New computer for Lock. Yeah, at some point I probably need to start thinking about it. 'Cause, I mean, this one's doing all right. It's just that my problem isn't really the computer so much, although it does. I probably needed to update it at some point. I've had it for a few years now, but the problem is the heat. Is being in places where it is I have to live stream out in the heat because I don't have air conditioning out in this bitch. So, and that's whereas I can just sip on ice water and get some cross breeze going. The computer, when it decides it's hot and it ain't gonna work, and it might break at some point. The heat will only make me stronger, but it will wear down the computer and break it eventually. Computers just don't get stronger when you subject them to stresses. So, and of course, my always chasing battery charge. Like I wasn't able to get fully charged today. So yeah, I just wasn't. So I might be able to still make it through till tomorrow when I can, I might have to try and try to get a charge going early tomorrow somewhere, earlier than I normally would, but because it just takes so long to charge up. But Voltavia says, Mr. Lee, you could count your number of words on one hand. He's shy. Mr. Lee's shy. Yeah. JT says, me smart. Well, I don't know. I don't recall. It's been a couple of years since we did we talked, like we did the episode talking about um, the aquatic ape hypothesis, um, which I think is really beyond hypothesis at this point, and well into the realm of theory, where it actually has evidence to back it up. That humans have a lot of aquatic adaptations in our past, and I don't know if anyone else says this. I say, scientist Lockbeard over here, it is my goddamn hypothesis that humans stood up straight because of wading into water, not because we ventured out onto the stupid freaking Serengeti, or how they have that theory about, oh well, when the chimp like ancestors came down from the trees, they needed to stand up over the grass to see. Are you serious? Are you fucking kidding me? That's so goddamn ridiculous. I don't even know where to start with that. But what does make sense is if we were wading in the water and getting braver and braver, because somewhere along the line, some of our ancestors figured out shellfish was good eating and protein, and we started to adapt to it, and we kept on getting into the water, and eventually those who could stand up stably, straight, were the ones who could wade into the water more safely, and into deeper water. And and if you look at any kind of animal that's adapted to the wading lifestyle, their body plan ends up getting taller and stuff like that. So the easiest way for humans to get taller was to just straighten up. Straighten up. We didn't necessarily, you just stretch the chimpanzee, because the chimpanzee is usually quadruped. Usually walks on all fours. But anyway, so we don't want to go down that rabbit hole too much. But anyway, one of the things that has to do with evidence supporting the aquatic ape hypothesis has to do with underwater held breath swimming. Where you hold your breath, you swim underwater. Presumably, our ancestors were doing this at times, to go get resources, maybe to spear a fish under some rocks, or to gather shellfish from deeper water. And this somehow factored into our evolution to where now the only way you can obtain the only way you can obtain your highest potential IQ is by engaging in underwater held breath swimming for a few weeks, at least a few weeks. And what will happen is you will have a permanent expansion of the carotid arteries, and that delivers more oxygen and nutrients to the brain, and thus your brain will functionally better. It doesn't happen if you don't ever dive under the water and underwater held breath swimming. And one of the things that they found, dealing with how long people can hold their breath, is that the longer you can hold your breath, the longer a sentence you're capable of composing. Just one of those weird things about humans. So the question is, are you a free diver? Do you hold your breath and swim underwater a lot? Or have you ever challenged how long you can do that? Baltimore says, Mr. Lee, so I am, but everyone knows you and your Cockney accent. There's no reason to be shy. Baltimore says, so is JT the female or the male in the thumbnail? JT says, depends on the day. LOL, I'm the male currently. You never know these days. You never know. JT says, no AC equals fuck that. Yeah. Yeah, some days I would have to agree with that. Volta BS says, JT Lockbeard is picky. I tried to help him, but he's an Apple man. Yeah, I'm Apple now. It ain't without its problems, but it's just been way more trouble free than any computer I've ever had. So, man, like I don't even know if I still have that one laptop. I think I smashed it. Man, it seemed like I was in the shop all the time with that damn thing. I've never sent this computer to a computer shop. So, yeah. It took some getting used to using Apple, but yeah. Well, Tobias says she looks like she keeps you in line. Indeed, he says. Will that help down below? What? Down below? Voltabia says, I used them techniques when I took scuba. It gives a man 30% growth. Oh, shit. I see where you're going with that. JT says, got to stay away from them adult sites. It helps, Locky. Yeah, those things are nothing but trouble, aren't they? Oh. Okay, where were we going with? Oh, we were going to go to this. This supports Mr. Lee and JT's position on the matter. I don't know if I can get that better. No, I can't get it any better. That's as good as it's going to get unless I change the layout.
Some that have attempted to debunk you and what you're claiming. This is from a Corridor Crew. So I've never seen these guys before, but they are, I think, a team of visual effects artists. Is that right? These guys do visual effects for a living. And so they're trying to say that, oh, this is just...
These are guys who have debunked the DoD Navy videos as well. So going into it.
Oh, now what? Mr. Lee says, I could barely hold my breath when they put me through that machine that takes pictures of my liver, just about passed out. Damn.
Oops. They already didn't really have any credibility. I mean, if you're trying to debunk real DoD declassified videos, then it seems like you probably already have a bias. But yeah, let's go into some of their claims.
Okay. So here's one of their clips. They said let's go ahead and play this clouds one. The clouds are not moving.
After analyzing this footage, it became clear to me that this is visual effects. The thing that stands out most to me is we go back to that first clip. Let's look at the background. Are we a satellite? Assume we're a satellite. Do you notice anything weird about the background?
Oh, that the clouds are not evolving in any way, shape, or form.
Nothing's evolving.
It's a still frame.
It's a still frame. Thank you, Ren. Hey guys, how fast do satellites go?
17,000 miles an hour.
Yeah. Would you jump to footage of the International Space Station?
Oh, damn!
Look, the fact of the matter is that's satellite footage. The satellite needs to be moving. It can't be static. There would be parallax between the clouds and the ground. That's a big one.
Okay, so what do you say to that, to the clouds not moving?
First of all, it's hard to take anybody seriously who looks like Geordie LaForge with those types of glasses on. Those are not serious people that we're talking about here. But the space station is about half the distance to the Earth as the satellites are. The system that we're looking at here is the space-based infrared system.
Hold up. How dare you? How dare you talk shit on Geordie LaForge? What the hell is he thinking? Geordie LaForge was like a brilliant engineer. He got the Enterprise out of a lot of minds. Multiple says, Mr. Lee, the first time for me, they had to take me out and give me a sedative. Mr. Lee says, oh yes, this fella, he believes the orbs and portal thing. Yeah. That satellite would not taking pics from that angle, says Volta BS. So you don't think it is you're against it? Not me. One of the angles is from a drone, says JT. Yeah, that implosion thing. Well, one, how they know it's an implosion. Why are they using the word implosion? But whatever. I mean, well, I can't remember what they called it as far as a visual effects function, but that was really the only thing that seemed seemed to have any kind of weight to it. The clouds thing, I just don't know. Like, because the International Space Station, like, it's from further away and stuff like that. And, you know, and it's not trying to keep a certain object in frame. It's just passing over the Earth. So, you know, I don't know about that. And then the part where they said that the heat vision would not pick up the contrails. Well, if it won't pick up the contrails, why does it pick up clouds? Because you can see the clouds, you know. So, yeah, I'm having a little bit of an issue with that. Mr. Lee says the clouds, in fact, do show movement with the orbs. But Voltbia says absolutely. They said it was a satellite. The photo was taken from something in the atmosphere.
The Earth as the satellites are. The system that we're looking at here is the space-based infrared system, which is a Google Earth video playback. When you're looking at Google Earth, do you see the satellites move? No, you don't. We have actually already proven twice over that the clouds actually do move. There's just very slight movement in the clouds because satellites, the information that's being sent is very far away, 1,000 kilometers away, as well as the fact that the perspective changes 8 times in this video. You see the perspective change constantly. So we're only looking at any one part for only a few seconds there. But even given all this, we were able to create 2 different videos that show conclusively that the clouds are moving. From the parallax perspective, we have 2 other videos that prove that there is parallax between the left and the right screen that we're seeing on that satellite video over to the right. Just right off the bat, these guys have already gotten 2 things wrong. It's frankly embarrassing for these guys because they've obviously put no effort whatsoever into looking into the case or anything about it. And they created this propaganda video that's meant to like get people to make it seem like a joke, which shows just dishonest intent right across the board.
Yeah, I mean, this is the video that shows up. And the way I found it was that when you go through Twitter and you actually start looking at the information that you've presented, there's always a community note often. And that community note says this has already been debunked. And then it links to this video. So here's another one that they say that the thermal shows that the explosion blast is cold and also that you shouldn't be able to see the contrails in the thermal footage. So here's what they say about that.
But you know what? That doesn't rule out that thermal shot, right? What's up with that thermal shot? Thermal cameras, like they don't have grain. It's not underexposed footage. And if there's any sort of noise pattern, notice it's a fixed noise pattern. Yeah. It's the idea of like your image is under almost like a dirty lens.
How do you make it look like it's thermal? Well, there's a filter in After Effects called Colorama. What Colorama does is it goes, all right, let's take black to white, and instead of do black to white, we're going to fill it in with different colors along the way, a rainbow, a spectrum. And then, you know, that looks like thermal footage, it's just not accurate. However, in this case, we see the engines are hot, so maybe you go in, touch up the engines, give them a little, track some like heat points on there. One weird thing I'm noticing with the thermals is on that shockwave in the second clip, like how cold is that shockwave?
Wait,
like is that like a 0? And so I'm confused why it's so dark when like we clearly see the engines are like hot points. We're getting the yellows, the reds.
Because if it's a super dark hole, why is it so bright there? And then in the other one, it's like a pitch black abyss.
The crazy thing about thermals is they see through mist and smoke and all that kind of stuff. If we look at this clip from Veritasium, we can't see them because photons can't pierce the fog. But that deep infrared, that long wavelength infrared goes right through it. The fog is invisible to infrared. So those plain contrails shouldn't even be showing up on thermal.
Okay, so what do you say to their claims there?
So first of all, it's not contrails. They're already wrong about that because it's too low for contrails. So that means it can only be exhaust or smoke. And you can see those things on thermal, especially if it's lithium-ion batteries having a chemical reaction as they're battling this lithium-ion battery fire. I think there's no issue with seeing the smoke. When the plane, the drone goes underneath the trail, you can actually see it stack up. You can actually see it get denser as well, which is something that would be very difficult to fake. The noise pattern is natural noise pattern, because what we're looking at is an electro IR camera. It's not a thermal camera. This is the same false claim that they made when I was on the podcast last week, where they tried to catch me with this video. They didn't even come up with anything new actually in this. The electro IR camera is most likely a Raytheon advanced multispectral targeting camera. The thermal layer was actually manually added in by the leaker, and it actually removes some of the detail. We were able to strip that manually using editing software. You can see more detail in the clouds. Again, the clouds do move, and you can actually see the clouds in the background that are very accurate volumetric clouds, extremely difficult to fake. The cold event, the reason why it's cold is because it's an endothermic event. It's at the lowest temperatures. This is how you are able to induce this phase transition. This is how we can potentially get the macroscopic quantum coherence event to happen, because what it does is it breaks these electrons apart from their equilibrium state and allows them to self-organize and cohere. And when they cohere into a matter wave,
now as far as he's calling it an endothermic event. So, you know, maybe if you've had chemistry or something, you've heard of exothermic and endothermic reactions, where an exothermic reaction is your exo, the word, you know, out or emitting, and then thermic, temperature. So it creates heat. So if you have a chemical reaction that creates heat, or like combustion, fire, you know, that's an exothermic reaction. An endothermic reaction is one that's going to suck up heat, right? So I'm wondering if any endothermic reaction would appear just pitch black, because it's sucking in all the heat. No heat's escaping because it's actively absorbing heat. So I don't know how an infrared camera or thermal camera sees that, because there wouldn't be any heat radiation from the source of the endothermic reaction. I would think it would appear pitch black. So you know, what he's saying here seems plausible to me. But I haven't played enough with thermal cameras to know for sure any of that. But Volta BS says it's fancy CGI. JT says it's basically from two satellites orbiting together in tandem. Yeah. JT says the contrail is not a contrail. It's smoke from a lithium battery fire in the belly of the plane. Even if it was a contrail, though, if what they were saying was true, that a contrail would not show up on thermal, then clouds wouldn't show up on thermal. So something ain't right there, right? Because we see the clouds. Mr. Lee says members of the public were asked to look at satellite images on their home computers for any clues of the missing plane, because they just couldn't find it. Volta BS says, if that's a satellite, it's the plane flying on its side. Mr. Lee says they knew the airplane disappeared off radar above the South China Sea. That is all. JT says, I know what you mean, Vault. I thought the same thing at first. It's addressed, though. I don't remember the terminology, but it's all explained in his vids. Mr. Lee says you can also see the trail, yes. OGG's here. Welcome. Volta BS says it's freaking BS. The government would have this sealed and Goofy would not get access. Well, remember when we looked at the videos, his interview before, he was talking about that one officer, that one military man who he thinks there was some weird stuff surrounding him getting charged with what was it, espionage or whatever, but that, you know, you never find out exactly what it was he did, and so he thinks that officer released these videos on purpose to because he thought the public needed to know. But you know, I don't think he can prove that. Halito Achaeos, howdy chat, says Icon. Welcome, Icon. JT says the vids were released by a guy in the military who went to prison with no public explanation for why he went. Icon says, Mr. Lee, did your liver stop quivering? Volta BS says, it goes, Icon. Been having crazy storms whipping up at night with torrential downpours. Yeah, we've been having some of that rain ourselves. Oh, geez. Mr. Lee says, Icon, only if I walk, stick my finger in the air while I hold my breath. What? Angel's here, welcome. Or weren't you? Haven't you been here? I thought you got here earlier. You've been to the Ministry of Silly Walks again, Mr. Lee, says Icon. Volt says, Angel, have you been getting the lightning storms? Jen's here, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're having some disagreements up in here about MH370. We talked about it a couple weeks back, and how those video FX guys seemed to have debunked it, but there is a counter argument to that. JT and Mr. Lee believe that the videos were not faked, and Volta BS is about to get convinced by JT and Mr. Lee that the videos were not faked. And I'm not 100% sure one way or the other, but I hope it's real, because this is some cool ass shit. What was shown in that video was freaking nuts. The plane got surrounded by 3 orbs that flew around the plane for a while in a what appeared to be a kind of a globular pattern. And then the plane got sucked into a portal on a drone camera and on 2 satellite cameras. I mean, damn. I didn't see any Bigfoots jump out of it, though. Might have had something to do with them being at 50,000 feet or wherever the hell they were. I don't know how high they were, but they were pretty damn high. And not because they got into Mr. Lee's weed. Make dinner? Oh, man. There's a link to some of the Blastwave visuals info. I figure I'd just take y'all's word for it rather than spending a bunch of time trying to compare Blastwave video effects and all that stuff. That it's not a real match. That's not a real match. Mr. Lee says, Donald, what does it take to convince you? I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure that you would have to you have to build a time machine, go back in time with a plane and fly underneath MH370 and film the whole thing, and then hang a net out the window and catch any Bigfoots that fall out of that portal. And if you bring that Bigfoot to Donald, I think he'll believe you. I think he'll believe you. I don't know. Yeah, if that video effects thing, JT says all good, Lucky. If that video effects thing is bunk, because like you said, you know, I didn't like some of the things that these guys said. Like it didn't sound legit to me. So if that part wasn't legit as well, and I just don't know enough about the situation to call bullshit on what they said, then it fits with the rest of the scenario that looked like it was kind of they were full of shit. And if they also debunked the Navy, was it naval gimbal, whatever they call that video with the UFOs, if they also supposedly debunked that, now those guys are just trying to make a name for themselves, probably debunking stuff that isn't really, it's not really debunked. Volta BS says, Mr. Lee, a footage that shows me a clear, irrefutable footage. This is bullshit to me.
Now you're able to allow this event to occur. The reason why it's not dark in the satellite video is because that is a false color IR. Again, it's a Google Video Earth playback. The other false statement they didn't even make in this one, but they made in the previous one, is they thought it was daytime. It's actually nighttime in both these videos. It's 2:40 a.m. And that false color IR, the whole point of it from the military perspective is battlefield awareness. If it was pitch black, you're not going to be able to do the intended purpose of the SBIR system, which is tracking missiles, boats, and planes, just like we see here. The reason why we're seeing whiter clouds at the top is there's more IR radiation at the top of clouds than at the bottom of them. So this essentially, I think, addresses every single one of their points. The last thing I want to point out is their recreation is laughably bad. They make several claims in that video that they could recreate this in 1 hour or 5 hours. It would have taken less time for them to do that than to make this silly video they made where they look like goofballs sitting on a couch. That's not how serious people address videos. If you watch me when I'm doing my work, I'm not sitting on a couch trying to make fun of people. That's just what propaganda is. So if they really could have remade it, they would have done it. It seems like what they did was they tried to remake it. They came laughably short. They realized that nobody was going to look at that video and think that they recreated it, and then decided to go sit on the couch and, you know, make a bunch of silly claims.
Right, right. And they actually showed how they would do it themselves. Here's the clip of that.
The underlying footage is CGI. It's a 3D render.
On top of a still frame of clouds.
On top of a still frame of clouds, and the reason it is the particle effect, the trail from the plane. Those are sprites overlaid on top of each other, giving us this additive stacked capacity, which creates that buildup in the highlight that we see there. If we were to do a volumetric smoke simulation of a similar trail like that, you would see that it doesn't overlap. It has more consistent values across the whole arc, not just where it's, you know, occluding itself. It's a CGI render.
Setting this up in 3D is almost trivially simple. You lay a path, you set an object to follow the path, you get a little triple helix for the other objects that come in, put a particle emitter for the contrails.
I'd be curious to see when this came out versus when the sprite trail tutorial on Video Copilot came out. I think it was roughly around this time. I'd be curious to see.
Okay. So I think that their most, you know, the claim that they make that is the most viable is about the stock footage from the 90s of an explosion that looks just like the shockwave in the footage. So let's go ahead and watch that. And then I think this is the one that's the toughest to debunk from the debunkers. So let's watch this video.
Do we have this shockwave on our server?
We do now, actually.
Wait, what?
We didn't. Some people on Reddit did. This is a stock footage clip from the 90s.
Oh, hell yeah.
There's the clip from the video, and here is the stock footage.
It's perfect!
Oh, it's perfect!
Cinderella, baby.
Cinderella, man.
That's it.
Slipped right on.
Wow. An ISA, dude, an identified stock asset.
Some people have said, you know, pixels don't match perfectly. And you know what? Of course they don't match perfectly. I don't have the exact settings that the artist used, but if you look at it, it's the exact same.
So,
okay, so what do you say to that?
Of course, they match perfectly, but they don't match perfectly. I think that's a direct quote that I just heard, which is a direct contradiction. But I want to address the thing they said before is, first of all, remember, they show this janky recreation. They say they could easily make it, but then they completely fail. It looks completely fake there. It's a recreation attempt. We already proved the clouds are moving in the background, so that also says that it's not still clouds over the background. The motion blur that's added, they actually add their motion blur in post, while the real video's motion blur and rolling shutter is caused by a zooming effect that increases with the amount of zoom. And the physics of their jet versus the real ones that we see, their jet is wrong, and that's one of the hardest parts to recreate. Now, according to that VFX debunk they found out, they didn't even have it. It doesn't match. They even admit that it doesn't match, and they say, well, of course it's not perfect. But, you know, again, if the pixels matched, I always just tell people to shut down that argument. How many pixels match? And that ends it, because it would have to be a 100% match. The thing as well that we saw when they show the full effect is the full effect is not even remotely close to our video. What the dishonest disinformation attempt has been is to try to line up one frame. And even when they did the comparison there, they actually dishonestly did not compare the one frame to ours. They're actually at that point there, they're not comparing that single frame. They're comparing a edited version that they made where they tried to make it match. As you see from that very last event there, screenshot, where you can see the real effect, you can tell very clearly there are a bunch of different explosions and dots that are coming out of it that are not the same. So what they've done is they've tried to line up the edge as best as possible in a deceptive way to make people think that, oh, this one frame is similar. But the reality is all dispersal patterns are the same, dispersion patterns. We've been able to compare this to an ink blot. In fact, one of the earliest debunks was claiming that this effect was an exact match to an ink blot. We've also been able to compare it to supernova effects. The reality is all of these types of dispersions all are going to be able to do this situation where you can match them together. I've even got one that shows that a donut is a better match than this effect that they've put out there. So again, this is what I always like to say as a statement of fact, not an opinion. That visual effect is not in our videos. They haven't proven that it is from this. They've said their opinion that it looks similar. That's not a fact. They admitted right there that it's not a perfect match, even though they claimed right beforehand that in their opinion it was. And if anyone wants to prove me wrong, it's really, really simple. Just find the person that supposedly hoaxed these, this Banksy person who apparently hoaxed these, get the source files. They're going to have a whole hard drive full of source files and work that they did to build up to these perfect videos. And then you can earn yourself $145,000. In my opinion, people that have that amount of reach, that should be the only thing they're focused on.
All right. So the part here where he talks about all dispersal patterns match, there may actually be something to that. There is a basic geometry behind reality, and everything kind of follows that. And sometimes it's more obvious than other times, but it's there. It's there. I wish I could remember. It was where Ken Wheeler was doing some experiments with some metal, molten metal, and when it solidified, the bubble patterns matched the points that would be in the field. I can't remember exactly how it worked, but anyway, every time the patterns matched. And the only way that makes sense is if our reality is always trying to, it's not really trying, it just is. It just naturally, it's like rolling downhill. It falls into that geometric, that basic geometric pattern to reality. You see it sometimes, like just, how, you ever played with a was a spirograph? Is that what they called that? And you basically see precession in the field basically. And I would argue that the reason why we can even see that and do that spirograph thing in this reality is because that geometry is the basis for this reality. Otherwise, we wouldn't see things that way. You'll see that same pattern if you look at a pine cone. You'll see that pattern in the pine cone. If you look at a sunflower, you'll see that pattern in the sunflower. The golden ratio, all of that stuff. So there's no reason to think that what he just said isn't a real thing, where all dispersal patterns are going to basically match. To some extent, there's always going to be some randomness, but so I don't know. I think JT and Mr. Lee might have me convinced. JT says they debunk everything they come across. Mr. Lee says, anyway, there is also a documentary series on Netflix about missing Malaysia MH370 airplane, but it doesn't focus on the orbs and portals if you're interested. Well, the BS says, so if that's a satellite, it would have to be at a far distance from the image taken from the curvature of the Earth, but the Earth is flat, so they would have reflections of stars on the dome. Oh shit! You've invoked the name of the flat earthers. They're gonna start coming out of the woodwork, man. I can't deal with flat earthers, man. I can't be nice. I mean, you can only call them stupid. I don't know what else to say. It's crazy. Those people are nuts, man. Every so often one shows up somewhere and I'm like, what the fuck? How are you guys even a thing? Mr. Lee says it's not the exact same. No, that looks fake. Jen says they found some of the plane's debris. If it went in a portal, why was there wreckage in the ocean? Which in the interview we went through, we watched it the last time we talked about MH370. He basically said that wasn't confirmed or something. Like they claimed that the picture they had was of some debris, but it wasn't. But there was a portion of the plane that turned out somewhere. I can't remember what his explanation for why that was, or I don't know. Maybe Mr. Lee or JT can answer that. Volta BS says I gotta get me some water. Our well has decided to pump rust. I think the well driller used crappy well casing. I'll be listening. Volta BS says exactly, Jim. New project for you. How deep's your well, Donald? If your well's not really deep, well, you might need to get a couple of young guys that have experience doing this and pull it by hand. I've done it. However, I got on one time. It was one of my friends' rent houses, and we were, it was we needed to replace the pump, and anyway, I guess he thought that the well wasn't as deep as it was. I think it turned out to be 130 feet, and we were trying to hand pull this motherfucker. And so what ended up happening is he had to, we couldn't, it was because once we got down to where there was water, it was too slippery and we weren't able to pull it anymore. So I held on to it while he went back to his house and got his mini excavator and come back out there. He wasn't that far away, so it was like a quarter mile to his house from the rent house. So, and then once we got that there, we were able to hook a chain to the bucket and wrap it on the pipe and pull the well out. But man, that was a hell of a deal. That was squirrely shit right there. JT says Lovekin Wheeler dude is a smart ass fucker. Yeah, the world has no idea, man. The world has no idea. He hasn't had any kids. A lot of people might look at him and say, yeah, this guy, look at this guy. He's not the genetic cream of the crop. His brain is. People focus too much on physical appearance sometimes. And he's old. He's like, what is he, 50 now, I think. The fact that he's not passing his DNA on to the next generation is probably a great loss to humanity. Meanwhile, some of the dumbest motherfuckers out there are breeding like roaches. Sorry, but they are. Some of the dumbest motherfuckers out there breeding like roaches, and then the social programs pay for their existence, and they just all these social programs, because they're not because they're not designed properly to prevent people wanting to take advantage of the system by having kids, what happens is people take advantage of the system by having more kids. People who can't pay for their own kids, they, you know, stuff like that. So, which oftentimes means they probably shouldn't breed. Doesn't always mean that. Sometimes it's just circumstances, but a lot of times it does mean that. You know, like where I grew up, there was this woman down the road, you know, had the mind of an 8-year-old, and you know, should not have been breeding with anybody, but somebody was breeding her. A number of different somebody's bred her, and she had, you know, I don't know how many kids she ended up having it before it was over with, but at least 4. You know, sometimes there needs to be a, I don't know, somebody saddled up on that. She was not a looker at all by far, but she had the mind of an 8-year-old, and somebody saddled up on that. Anyway, Kim Wheeler is someone who he should have offspring. You know, who knows what genius might come from his children. But as for hold on a second. Now this lady, hold on a second. Very smart woman. Kim Wheeler talked about her a little bit on his channel because she, you know, been hanging around his channel a little bit. She was the president of the Huntsville. What was it called? The Huntsville. Maybe this is her obituary, so they might say here. Yeah, the Institute for Exotic Science in Huntsville, which she co-founded. Well, I'll just read this. Okay, her name is Amy Eskridge. She died at age 34, Saturday, June 11th, 2022. She had a genius for science and questioned the conventional wisdom on everything from the universe to the nanoparticles of the atom. She was also an astute entrepreneur as chairwoman and president of the Institute for Exotic Science in Huntsville, which she co-founded. She was greatly loved by her family and many friends. Her passion for space grew from her start in the Rocket City after. Anyway, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but anyway, she's very smart. There's a video out there where she's talking to a crowd of pretty smart fellows and people. And at some point, somebody brings up something that kind of sounds like something that he might have got out of Ken Wheeler, from his channel or whatever. And she brought up Ken Wheeler. She knew who Ken Wheeler was. Said he ought to, yeah, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, you ought to check out Ken Wheeler. And she did. She did believe that ether was real. This woman is kind of mysterious about her death. They think that she was murdered to stop her from pursuing the sciences that she was interested in, anti-gravity and stuff like that. So once again, a tremendous loss to the future of humanity here. That she never passed her DNA on to the next generation. Again, who knows what kind of genius would have come out of her children. Obviously, she got a little more blessed in the looks department than Ken Wheeler. But yeah, that's some bullshit. Like I don't know all the details behind her murder, but yeah. Anyone that suggests it was just random violence, I would have to call bullshit on that. I think the government took her out, or somebody that controls the government. Volta BS says, Mr. Lee, not for me. The casing, that casing is out of my ability to remove. Mr. Lee says, Jenna debris is believed to have been placed there purposely. High five, Mr. Lee, says JT. Voltbia says, of course, Mr. Lee, try using Occam's razor when debunking these. Mr. Lee says, JT, we convinced him only slightly, though. Mr. Lee, that's going a bit far, says Jen. Better than nothing. Or is it? Mic drop. 168 foot. Man. Yeah, you're not pulling that by hand. You're going to have to get some kind of machine to pull it. Jen says, so the debris they found, which doesn't fit that guy's narrative, is planted. Nope, I don't buy it. Voltabia says, you are talking pulling the pump. I could do that, but pulling the casing up would take some hydraulics. Well, why do you want to pull the casing up? Do you think it's degraded to the point that you need to replace it, or what's up with that? In which case, you will need some help. You will need some professionals up in there. JT says, Jen, they addressed the debris that was found in several of his vids. I don't remember the exact explanation right now. Sorry. I think that they weren't able to confirm that it was from that plane, except for one piece, which turned up in a really odd location. It didn't make sense where it was at or something like that. So they think that so some think that the only way it turns up there is if it was planted, or it and it probably wasn't planted where it turned up, like, because it would have floated or something. I can't remember exactly the details about that. Covering the debris thing in the documentary. Jen says the loss of life should be what matters, not conspiracy theory. Well, and that's one of the things that's a weird thing is the people that were on board. There was a bunch of scientists from, I forget the name of that company, and they were all on there. There was a whole bunch of them from the same company, and they had their families with them, and they were heading for China. So basically, it looks like they were defecting to China, and with some scientific knowledge that the U.S. government didn't want them to get there with. So the U.S. government sent orbs to suck the plane into a portal, and now those people are being imprisoned in a base somewhere. I don't know. But it does seem odd. I mean, all those men and their families, all those scientists and their families, all together on one plane, heading for China. Yeah. Drop the link, says Jen. Mr. Lee says the plane that disappeared. Damn, right on it. He got that link. Mr. Lee's a link dropping fool. JT says, if I had family on that plane, I would want to know the truth no matter what it is. Yeah, exactly. This is what, because like I brought up, 9/11 one time on a paranormal channel. I don't know if they're still running. Anyway, there's a man and a woman, and they're a little older. I forget the name of the channel now. It's been a while. Anyway, the man got all pissed off at the suggestion that 9/11 was an inside job. But that's what you got to deal with, It's just like with the epidemic that we supposedly just had. When you tell people, look, there's all these, that was fake. That wasn't a real pandemic. It was completely fake. It was not a real pandemic, period. You can't deny it unless you're going to deny some of the most basic facts about the situation. And we can go over them, and YouTube might shut my channel down again. But and if you tell people that, though, they get pissed off. Well, my mom died or my brother died. Well, I'm sorry your mom or brother died, but the fact is that somebody lied to you about what they died from. And you shouldn't be pissed off at me. You should be pissed off at the person that lied to you about what they died from. because it didn't die from no C19. I'm sorry. It didn't fucking happen. That test did not test for C19. It just didn't. So why the fuck are you trusting the test? And there was so much shit where the government lied about or twisted and was being completely unscientific about, like, thing on the CDC website where they were telling the doctors, don't bother testing even. If someone shows up at the hospital and dies, just write COVID-19 on their death certificate and go on about your day with no proof whatsoever that's what killed them. That's where a lot of them statistics came from. They just fucking wrote COVID-19 on this. I have a buddy that's exactly what the fuck happened to his mom. She was old. She had multiple conditions, connected with her age. They knew she was, coming up on the end, right? She died. They wrote COVID-19 on her fucking death certificate. He went down there and raised hell and made them take it off of there. Because she didn't die from fucking COVID-19. It was a lie. And they did that to who knows how many death certificates. The whole goddamn thing was a lie. Did you not go outside and look down the goddamn street? In a pandemic, you're going to see people dying in the street with some motherfucker with a wheelbarrow coming along, hollering, bring out your dead. That shit didn't happen. There was no pandemic. It didn't fucking happen. But people believed it because the fuckers on the TV told you so. The doctors didn't invent that test. It was sent to them. They said, here, this test for COVID-19. Test your that could have been a fucking pregnancy test and you would have got the same results. Elon Musk even tried to tell everyone. He took that test 4 times, the same test, took it 4 times, the same nurse. So he should have got the same results all 4 times. No, he got 2 positive, 2 negative, 50-50 chance you're going to show a positive or a negative. You could do a coin flip and get the same fucking results. So I don't know what the fuck it's going to take to convince people. That's just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more to it. The disappearing flu statistics. Where'd the fucking flu go? Did the flu take a goddamn break? No, the flu did not take a goddamn break. The flu has continued to kill the same number of people it does every fucking year, and it always has. Hundreds of thousands of people every year the flu kills. The weakest among us die from the flu. That's always been the case. Suddenly, we got this pandemic. We need some statistics to scare people. We need to show that people are dying. Oh, let's go grab those flu statistics and we'll just pull them over here and put them in the pile and call it COVID. And we'll tell people these people died from COVID. No, they fucking didn't. They died from the flu, you dumb fucks. They lied and lied and lied. Lie upon lie upon lie. And some of these, I still see people wearing a goddamn mask. They're beyond brainwashed. They're brain dead. It's fucking insane, man. Goddamn clown world. Now we got these assholes on the university campus who don't know what fucking protesting is. They think breaking and entering, destroying property, assaulting people, throwing shit at the fucking cops, tearing down the American flag. They think that's protesting. No, that's criminal activity. Every last bit of it. You guys aren't protesters no more. You're criminals. That's why you're getting your asses arrested now. Too bad the cops didn't step up and do that shit during the other not protests that they called Black Lives Matter. Well, there was a few people doing legit protesting as cover. And we really should investigate the ones that look like they were legit protesting as someone who was covering for the ones that were out looting and killing and raping and burning shit down. And that's what they really wanted to accomplish for all that. They weren't trying to help black people. And BLM did not help black people at all. Go ask them, how did this shit help you? Can you tell anything different about your life? BLM protesting did. It didn't do shit, did it? And the reality is your life's just fine. All you got to do is do the same thing we all do. Get up in the morning, and live life, work a job, earn some money, buy some shit, follow the speed limit, don't break any laws, and everything will be okay. maybe vote for someone other than Biden. Doesn't have to be Trump. At least don't vote for Biden. Fuck. Oh, man. Fucking clown world out here. But yeah, why don't people want to know the goddamn truth? You know, it's like they're so, you know, it's like with Bigfoot, you know, same thing. People are so latched onto a particular narrative that it doesn't matter what evidence you show them, they're not going to believe anything but the narrative they want to believe, that they got brainwashed with. Or maybe they just like it the most. They latched onto it. Sometimes people watch a movie and they like that movie a lot, so they want reality to match the goddamn movie. This is why werewolf sightings increase after a new werewolf movie comes out. That alone proves that at least some of this bullshit is bullshit, right? People's minds playing tricks on them, you know, or some of them maybe just fucking lying. It's fake from the beginning. JT says alien scientists had talked about that woman. I think he did an interview with her before she was taken out. Yeah. Wonder if we could go get some of her DNA out of her grave. Wonder if her family would protest that. A loss to humanity right here. Fault of BS. Almost as much a loss as me. Oh shit, there's that narcissist coming out again. An inflated sense of self-importance. Both BS's damn it had to pull over. I think the casing is rotting away by the amount of rust in the water. It may be. So you're going to be out thousands of dollars paying someone to come replace it. Or just live with it. Yeah, on board we're scientists. We're scientists, yeah. Whole bunch of them. And their families. JoJo says, I'm off to bed, guys. Falling asleep. Good night, JoJo. JT says they were on the way to give the secret to the technology to China. The U.S. wanted to make a statement to China, like, remember who is really in charge and why. Or as old boy put it, who's your daddy? Mr. Lee says a lot of peeps see the truth about the zombie juice now. Yeah, we need to get more people to see the truth. The fact that you didn't really see an increase in death rates until after the zombie juice came out. So what caused the increase in death rate? JC says, yep, anyone who died around that time was a COVID death. Shaking my head. Yeah. I just don't get it. Went to Walmart, all the toilet paper gone, you know. That shows how easy it is to cause people to just panic buy something. They manipulate the fuck out of people. You know how much toilet paper I bought during the toilet paper panic? 0. I bought 0 toilet paper. Now, to be honest, I typically don't. Because, you know, I use the bathroom at the gym or at whatever restaurant I'm at or the library. There's one particular place in this town that I prefer to use because they have good, clean, low traffic bathroom. And I don't want to give away my secret shitting spot. Okay. So don't ask. Although the gym is just as good a spot. So there's two good, really good spots. I do not recommend certain other places. your typical gas station. You know, that's if you just have to. You know, if you don't have to, there's better places. You just kind of gotta find them. If you're someone who doesn't have a bathroom like me, I don't have a bathroom on board the van. So my primary bathroom is at the gym, because that's where the shower is and all that stuff. And then beyond that, you know, Miss Lee says, JT, yeah, they also tried to blame the captain, saying he was, I don't know if I should say that word. He was considering self-termination. Yeah, that old stress nut. Jen says, when I got the flu a few months ago, they tested me. The test was flu, a flu B and C19 all in one test, which would say it's basically all the same thing. Exactly. The test for indicators that could be all those things and more. It could be radiation poisoning. You could test positive from that test because you've been sticking your cell phone in your bra for the last 10 years and getting a nice little radiation dose there. You know, I don't, you know, there was some woman that was talking about how the incidence of breast cancer has changed in recent years, and it started to focus more on this upper inner quadrant of women's breasts because women are stuffing cell phones in their fucking bra. Stop it. That's probably why all these chicks running around here, you know, a lot of them, they're probably not over, they probably don't got, I don't want to say overweight. A lot of them have very nice backsides, healthy backsides. It's probably not fat at all. She's probably lean as fuck, and she's just got a cancerous ass because she keeps her cell phone stuffed in her back pocket all the time. And I don't know how they'd get around with life doing that without it getting stolen or losing it. It's half and hanging halfway out her fucking pocket. But anyway, I don't know what the answer is. Like, I try to keep, like, guys, you don't want to put your fucking cell phone in your pocket right next to your boys. Don't want it next to your boys. Now, what I typically do is just try and, I just, like, a lot of times I'm just not carrying, like, if I go in the grocery store, this bitch is not on me. It's sitting here. If I'm in a gym, you know, I don't use a locker at the gym anymore. This bitch ain't on me. It's here. It's in the fucking van. If I gotta have it on me, like at work, I kind of gotta have it on me. I have pants that have a pocket down the leg, you know, above the knee on the side there, away from my boys. I don't want any more in their boys. So I figure, well, if I get some leg cancer, at least, so, you know, I can cut that bitch off and have it replaced with a robot leg, I guess. I don't know. JT says the masks don't even stop the COVID anyway. Wear one if you want, I guess. Yeah, it doesn't stop shit. Anyone who had any familiarity with those masks before knew it wasn't going to stop shit. We also knew that hand sanitizer was causing people to get sick, right? We knew that it was a bad idea to use hand sanitizer, and then suddenly this thing hits, and everybody's got to use it. But hand sanitizer, I had to do something, and there was just no way around it. I had to do it. And the only way they let me go in is if I put hand sanitizer on my hand. That was the only time I put hand sanitizer during that whole goddamn thing. Or ever, I think. I don't think I've ever used it. Except that one damn time. One day I'd like to find that woman and give her a few more pieces of mine. I gave her a little bit of a piece of my mind, but I couldn't say too much because of the situation. I had to be careful what I said. Mr. Lisa's piece for dipping the test in orange juice, get a positive result, so they didn't have to work. Yeah. Yeah, anything to set that bitch off. It was useless. But people would get that test and like, oh my God, it's the COVID. No, you don't know that. You don't know that at all. That test didn't tell you shit. Yeah, regular flu disappeared during that time. What the fuck happened? Did it take a break? Did the flu go on a goddamn vacation? Angel says BLM and these college kids are all funded by the same people. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I put Soros's face on 2 thumbnails recently. But there's others involved. But he's so damn ugly, it's easy to easily to throw at him. I guess we could put Klaus Schwab or dorky ass Zuckerberg on there. How about Oprah? Oprah's ugly ass, fucking evil bitch. Hey, Graz, how's he doing? Saw werewolf right there on the screen. Yeah. Grasshopper says Jen get better since swelling's going down, hurting more. Mitch Lee says, how many presidents have you had? Is it 25? Can you name them all? How many presidents have you had? Is it do what now? What are you talking about? You mean how many presidents has the United States had? Well, that depends on what history you believe. Like Donald Trump is supposed to be, he's 45, and then he's supposed to be, like, a lot of people are calling him 45 and 47, but I'm calling bullshit on that. Like, if last election was properly counted, that he won that. So technically right now, Donald Trump is the legit president of the United States. So I don't know how they count that. Does that make him 45 and 46 and he's about to also be 47? Or do you just count him as 45 because it's going to be one continuous period of time in which Donald Trump is the legit president, 12 years straight, but he didn't get to serve the term in the middle because Biden and all his criminal buddies illegally took over the country and fucked it up pretty bad. Grasshopper says the drugs they had me on really messed me up, though. Yeah. JT says narcissist or not, tell how it is, Lucky. Well, you know, I mean, if I'm a narcissist for thinking that I need to pass on my DNA, then, you know, every freaking creature on the planet that struggles to pass on its DNA is a narcissist. But I think it's very important for someone like me to, someone who's, you know, pretty goddamn smart. Someone like her that's pretty goddamn smart. Ken Wheeler, who may be possibly one of the greatest geniuses of our generation. Raptors here. Jen says slowly but surely, painkillers are a mess. Yeah, painkillers, bad juju, man. JT says with carnivore diet, you don't even need to anymore, right, Lucky? It'll help. I mean, you know, there's some things even eating carnivore won't help, you know, because you're just too fucked up. But I mean, or won't completely heal. It'll help everything, because if you're feeding your body what it's designed to eat properly, it can fight whatever it challenges it's got way better. So if you got something that ain't healing, you need to go carnivore and get serious about it. You know, you do. You get rid of all those plant toxins that are disabling. You're just disabled. All your systems are disabled. Your physiology is just disabled. Struggling to function and to perform, you know, any function. And because it's also fighting, you know, thousands of different toxins from the various plants you're eating. And then on top of that, all the processed food, you know, the chemicals they put in it. It's just, yeah. Go to nothing but burger patties and eggs and bacon. Try to get the cleanest sources of that you can, and then see how you do after a few months of that. Whatever your condition is, it ought to improve, because your body will be able to fighting on that condition way better when you stop poisoning your body. Grasshopper says, Jen, they loaded me up with antibiotics. Oh, fucking meloxicam. Really screwed up stuff. I won't go into details. Did your ass blow out? Biatches like money. Yeah, somebody made some money. Somebody got fucked. Soros for foundation, yeah. Toilet paper. You don't need toilet paper. Yeah, I was always using somebody else's toilet paper, so I didn't need to buy any. So it didn't affect me at all. Jen says you grabbed a 9.5 pH water when I was out. Oh, you did. What is a phi water supposed to do anyway? A phi water? I'm not sure what you're saying there. I will tell you this. Anytime anyone's telling you, oh, eat this, eat that, try to alkalize your body, all that shit, throw that shit away. That's all bullshit. Look, your body, when it's fed properly and it's healthy, will maintain the exact pH that it needs in every part of your body. Whatever pH that it wants your insides of your cells to be, it will maintain that. This is all homeostasis kind of stuff, right? Whatever pH that your blood is supposed to be, your body will keep it at that pH no matter what you eat. You can eat all this alkalizing bullshit that people push all you want. It doesn't change the pH that your body needs to be at. It has a particular pH that it needs to be at, and it will maintain that. No, as best it can, no matter what you do to it. Now imagine you could really fuck up and drink some really strong acid, and you're going to find out what a really low pH does. But like for your stomach is a really good example, right? You need to have a really low pH in your stomach to digest food. Your body maintains that shit. You don't, so, antacids and all that shit. Like people are, you don't want an anti. You need acid in your goddamn stomach. If you're having, acid reflux and stuff like that, you need to address what's causing it. It's probably because you're eating all these goddamn plants. You might want to, I haven't really looked into this particular condition, but I imagine if you look into carnivore diet and how it affects acid reflux or whatever your issue is there, heartburn, you're probably going to find out that it cures that shit. And that shit's actually caused by eating plants. Antacid is not something. Caveman didn't have no fucking antacid, right? He didn't say, "Oh shit, I got that mastodon we just ate gave me heartburn. I need some fucking Malox or not Malox or whatever. I don't even know. Like I don't take these kind of medicines. I don't use this shit. Like I don't have these kind of problems. Like my problem was with breathing, because I think, I got lung damage from an extremely bad lung infection years and years ago. And then also exposure to various chemicals on the job through my lungs. My lungs just seem really weak. And, so if I get an infection in there, it's kind of hard to get it out and fight it. But other than that, shit's pretty good. If I don't start eating crap, my blood sugar stays perfectly balanced. My debilitating gut issues I used to have are just gone unless I start eating crap again. If I start eating crap again, they start coming back. And then I'm reminded, okay, this is why I eat carnivore. It's because that shit's poison. Multiple back. JT says adjust your body's pH level. Yeah, I'm going to call bullshit on that. Your body maintains a certain pH. It wants to stay at that pH. I would challenge these people that are claiming that, because I see this stuff like pH water, pH balanced water. Forget it. Your body maintains its pH in each part of your body, whatever pH it wants to be, it will maintain that. You don't need to do anything to affect that other than just eat meat and drink whatever pure source of water you can find. You don't need fiddled with water. The only thing you might consider is, like, if you're drinking water from your tap, you might want to, you might want to try and filter it. Try and make sure you're getting the fluoride out if you have fluoride in it. I've showed y'all before. which Ken Wheeler has the videos on his channel how he uses a magnet exactly like this one. Okay, a neodymium magnet, very strong. I don't want to get too close to the computer because it'll fuck it up. It'll, wipe it. And then I have the tubes over here somewhere, where you wrap the tubes around the magnet and use a funnel to pour water through the tubes. And you want to make, maybe 10 or 12 wraps around the magnet, get as close as you can. And then the water comes out the bottom into another jug. And then it wipes the bad memory out of the water, basically. Just like that magnet would wipe a hard drive. Water molecules hold memory, they hold data, they hold information. I know this is some weird ass shit, but there's plenty of science to back this up. Look up Dr. Emoto, and I got several other doctors in the intro on that page about the water. Dr. Emoto is one of them, and I forget the names of the others right now. Men who've done experiments that prove this stuff, and of course Kim Wheeler talks about it as well. Because these other ones, I don't think they actually understand the mechanisms at play. Kim Wheeler actually explains the mechanisms. What's going on is between the bonds of the atoms of the water molecule, information is stored. You want to wipe that, and then also. But if you can, try to, because I've been trying to locate a proper place to get some spring water here, natural spring water. Not 100% happy with all the options that are very close, but there's one that might work out okay. To get some just real spring water. That's what you really want to do, is just find you some real good spring water somewhere. Mr. Lisa is about the fake moon landing, which I have been saying is fake for years. Unless it's a miracle bottle, one isn't going to do much. Yeah. Painkillers are a prison sentences full of BS. Yeah. Especially if they get you addicted to some bad shit, because the doctors will do that to you. You need it, we'll diagnose you, we'll prescribe it, and we'll get you hooked right up. JT says, yeah, not like one bottle of water is going to change. Yeah, not one, not 10, not 100. Your body will struggle to maintain the pH level that it wants it to be at. You're fighting a battle that you can't win, right? That entire idea is just hokum bullshit nonsense about alkalizing your body. It's all bullshit. It's complete bullshit. Jen says, I didn't notice what it was until after I got home and was drinking it. Yeah, I don't think it's going to kill you, but you don't want to spend, because they'll say they charge more money for it and stuff, and people think they're getting something healthy, blah, blah, blah. It's all bullshit. It's bullshit. Marketing bullshit. Like most health shit that they tell you out there. What I'm telling you is, I don't think anyone could come at me and try to break down the logic of this. And I can say, look, I'll talk about some of this, but it's basically all been dealt with on by other people that they're dedicated to this particular subject. And those 4 men are the main ones I usually send people to. I probably need to get a longer list going. Professor Bart K, who has a YouTube channel. And these other 3 doctors, they have YouTube channels too. Dr. Ken Berry, Dr. Sean Baker, and Dr. Anthony Chafee. So for anyone watching this in the future, because most of these people here know these names, but other people are going to be watching this in the future, and maybe watching right now, and they're just not in the chat. Go check out those channels. Those doctors will tell you all the information you know about why you need to eat 100% fatty meat diet. And depending on how strict you want to be, my brother went on this path and he's gotten way stricter than I ever did. Like, he won't eat cheese. I'll eat the fuck out of some cheese. I think cheese is okay for most people, but some people can't handle it very well. Because you think about, where did cavemen get any cheese? No, that's something we had to invent. We had to first invent the whole idea of getting the milk out of an animal that wasn't one of our own. And then we had to come up with the idea of fermenting it, or, and so it's still animal fats and proteins though. So I think it's, and there's other reasons why I think it's okay. But anyway, basically you stop poisoning your body with all these plants that we're not supposed to eat, and you feed your body the proper nutrition it's supposed to get, and it will be able to heal most shit. It will heal 10 times better. Your brain will work 10 times better. You'll have more energy. You won't be hungry all the time anymore. I used to be hungry like I was constantly hungry, really. Like I eat breakfast and almost immediately I'm like, I want a snack, and I'm thinking about food an hour before lunch, and then you have lunch, and then I'm thinking about food another hour later. I mean, I was constantly thinking about food. My blood sugar was all fucked up, and I was eating all these plants and getting intoxicated, all the toxins. Once I went fully carnivore and stayed that way for a while, I wouldn't eat for 2 days sometimes. And people are like, oh, I can't imagine. I was like, well, I couldn't imagine it either before, but I wasn't hungry. It was totally not an issue. I just kind of not fucking eat because I didn't need food. I wasn't hungry. I was getting proper nutrition, and I wasn't getting poisoned all the shit. So my body didn't need the additional resources to fight the toxins. And I still had some body fat on me. I never did get super lean. If I did, I probably would have started eating more. But because body fat's basically food, for your body saved for later. You could survive if you're fat. You can live on that until it's gone. You don't need to eat. You just need some water and probably a little bit of salt, and you're good. If you decide you want to lose weight, it's as simple as that. Get adapted to tapping into your fat. Try some short-term fast first and get used to the being in a fasted state, and then just go into a fast for as long as you need to get lean. It's not rocket science. It has nothing to do with calories. Calories is bullshit. Calories is complete bullshit. Anytime someone talks to you about calories, just don't even listen. It's bullshit. I mean, all these years they've been telling people calories in, calories out, blah, 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 blah. And America's gotten fatter and fatter every year. Okay. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So, Mr. Lease says acid. Yeah. Don't have a solid to the point being dry, but I drink a lot of water. What? Jen says, I'm on carnivore, not buying pH water on purpose. Just got a bottle while running errands. Yeah, but it's a good opportunity to kind of, because I don't think I've ever really addressed that particular issue before. I might have, and I don't remember. But everyone out there watching needs to know pH. The whole pH thing is bullshit. It is bullshit. Mr. Lee says, yeah. I don't know what that is. Yeah, Raptor is correct. I see people buying distilled water who don't need distilled water. Like, if you're going to go put it, like if you're going to put it in your radiator, okay, that's what you want to use that for. Distilled water is not for it. What you're going to do is end up stripping the minerals out of your body. If you drink a whole lot of distilled water over a long period of time, you're going to have problems. Don't drink distilled water. They have drinking water and distilled water for a reason. You shouldn't drink distilled water. Don't do it. Opiates, painkillers have horrific side effects. I've come to call shitting a brick syndrome. Been there and done a lot of water too. Feel for you. Don't have a problem. I take a lot of meds in a day. Would have loved to bottle the water we had in our deer camp. This water was the best tasting water I've ever had. Like a natural sweetness to it. JT says, I drink a lot of water because I'm a kidney donor. Used to drink a lot before that already. Couldn't imagine what it would be like if I drank soda all day like my wife. I couldn't do it. Well, that's another thing. I talked about before about the water, like how I've done a little bit of very short term, like dry fasting, where you don't even drink water. And again, you want to ease into that kind of stuff. You don't want to try and do it cold turkey going into a dry fasting situation. You want to do it short term, and if you're going to build up to longer term, some people go for several days. Sometimes dry fasting, no water, no food, and a lot of in extreme ones, they'll not even take a shower because you'll absorb water through the skin, because they're trying to lose weight fast. And that's what will happen, is because your body isn't just tapping into the fat cells for food, it's also tapping into the fat cells for water. You have water in those fat cells, just like a fucking camel. And your body has the ability to manufacture water molecules. So that's a whole nother thing. So you can lose weight really, really fast if you really want to, just by fasting, dry fasting. But it's not for everybody, right? Professor Bart, thank you, Mr. Lee. Kill the cheese, Cabot every day. Yeah, I can't justify spending money on Cabot every day. I have been getting some of this Havarti, this kind of creamy Havarti every so often. I kind of like that stuff. I've been putting it. I take throw it in my pocket, and then go into McDonald's, and that's where I charge my batteries sometimes, and order some burger patties. So they got all beef, patties. So get some burger patties and put that soft Havarti cheese on my patties, because I don't know what that cheese is they got on there. It's probably some bullshit petroleum. I'm not even going to enter. And besides, they want too much money for the fucking cheese. Seriously, it's a fucking slice of cheese. I'm better off to getting this nice little block of Havarti. That do you and your brother have similarities? Some, as you would expect. More Cabots. They told me that when he was a kid, his uncles used to make head cheese from a hog head rotting on top of their fridge. No thanks. Yeah, I'm not down with that myself. That's a little. However, the reason why stuff because you got to ask, why would people do this? Why would people make like lutefisk? Basically fermented fish, and it's because humans were eating, or are actually very specialized to eating rotting. I had a hiccup there in my connection. Rotting animal protein, right? Kill a mastodon, you're going to be eating on that thing for weeks. You're going to be camped out around it, eating on it for weeks. This is why we like cheese, because cheese is basically decomposed, animal fats and proteins. So we like cheese. We're supposed to eat that. Our stomach pH is extremely low. It's lower than a typical carnivore. It's down in the range where you would see a scavenger type animal, which is eating rotting carcasses, right? That's how fucking carnivorous we are, that we are even supposed to eat rotting carcasses. So keep that in mind, and just check on it. I mean, that's our stomach pH is as low as a typical scavenger. And why is it that low? They say that the theory goes is that it's probably that low because you need stomach acid that strong to kill all the pathogens because you got all kinds of nasty microbes festering in rotting meat, and the acid kills them. 3 days, says BS. Best cheddar on earth. Don't know about rotting heads, but I like some head cheese. Great cheddar cheese curds, deep fried cheese curds. Jen says I eat once a day, had chicken for 2 days, gained 2 pounds. What the hell? Today's meal was a big T-bone. See if I go back down in a few days. You will. Chicken, one thing I noticed as a carnivore is that chicken became less appetizing. My brothers noticed that, and basically, many other carnivores have said the same thing. Chicken is clearly an inferior meat, and it's just not something. Our ancestors weren't using those big ass spears to stick a chicken with, right? we were using those big ass spears to kill mastodons and woolly mammoths and a whole bunch of other large species of megafauna animals. We were killing big, fatty, red-meated animals. Chicken domestication came much later. And again, I've talked about how I think that the reason why we kind of had to, I think chicken domestication had more to do with the eggs than the meat. Had more to do with the eggs than the meat because the nutrient composition of the yolks is fairly comparable to the nutrient the nutrient content of an animal brain. And because we had lost most of our major prey, we probably weren't getting large red-meated animals as often anymore. We weren't getting as much brain anymore. And so we needed something to kind of supplement that. And how our ancestors figured that out, who knows? It may have just been an accident those people that started eating eggs were more healthy and survivable and stronger. And, won battles more and hunted better. And, who knows how they figured it out. But somehow they figured some shit out because that's just how it is. Eat your egg yolks. Forget the whites. I say give the whites to the dog. The dog will be happy. The dog will love you for it. People are like, I don't want to waste the whites. Well, don't. I mean, I'm not. You do what you want. I'm just telling you how to be in optimal health. And you can do it or not. It's your business, right? It's your business. But yeah, chicken's an inferior meat. I got some canned chicken over here. And I just can't seem to get an appetite for it. I don't want it. I'm going to try and remember this in the future. I'll make myself eat it at some point before it goes bad. But I'll probably try not to ever buy canned chicken again because I just don't want it. I don't have an appetite for it. I want, beef. I want beef. And some bacon, like bacon. Squeak when you bite into them. Amish over New York. Borden's has an excellent Havarti. It's reasonably priced too. Jen says, "Okay, Lock. What else is the show supposed to be about?" Kind of watered off over the usual. Well, saving lives, right? Saving lives. JT says, "Gotta run, guys. Sweet conversation. Everyone, great show. Lucky, peace out, y'all. See you later, JT." I'm closer on board with you and Mr. Lee now, but I think Donald's not buying it, and neither is Jen. Like I said, Donald, I flanked by creameries that have fresh ones, fried ones, Squeak too. Mr. Lee says, Jen, moon landing, but I bet that's a show's worth. Well, I wasn't planning on doing moon landing tonight, but dry meat and tallow, Donald, traditionally with dried berries. Get ready to ask what the subject was tonight. Well, the main one was the MH370 issue. JT and Mr. Lee felt that I have been hoodwinked by the video special effects dumbasses. Baltabia says, Icon, that's cool. Have 2-hour drives. Get them usually when I go to the casino. The casino just takes your money, right? Jen says, I'm actually going to make some Donald beef tallow and salt. Corned beef sometime. Yeah, corned beef is awesome, but it's expensive. Have you not? You're gonna try and make some? You're gonna try and make some corned beef? One thing I tell people about corned beef, you know that little spice packet in there? Throw that sucker away. Throw it away. And then take the corned beef out and rinse it off really well with water. And you might even want to soak it for a little bit in some water to kind of get, because it's way too fucking salty, man. And then throw it fat side down in the slow cooker. And you probably don't need to add any water, because a bunch of fluid will come out of it, a bunch of fat. When I say upside down, put the fat side down. I want the fat the heating on the fat, almost like you're frying in it really slow. And eat all that fat. Mix it in when you chop up your corned beef and slice it up. Like, just that fat will just almost liquefy with a fork or whatever, or knife, and just mix it in. Don't throw out your fat. Eat your fat. Mr. Lee's got an egg-sucking dog. Yep, egg-sucking dog. Like us, all the gas stations around here carry curds. Almost cheating. Canned chicken, yeah, it's horrible. Chicken in general, like chicken meat in general, and just, yeah, I don't know. I used to like it more, but I think it's because, before it wasn't the carnivore, so my body's crying out for whatever fucking good protein it can get, or halfway decent protein. So chicken seemed really good. But now when my body knows what it's like to function mainly on beef, it's like, fuck that chicken, dude. That's a fucking piddly ass little yard bird. Get some goddamn meat, real meat. But yeah, corned beef's awesome. Live on Uncle Ben's rice, cheese, canned chicken. Yep. Quick meal takes 1 minute. Yeah. That's why I used to. I get that too. Some Uncle Ben's brown rice, and then some canned chicken, and then maybe throw a little bit of broccoli in there. I'd usually add a little bit of butter and then some cheese, to really flavor it up. Stop selling the rice and cheese packets. Why is the burger meal? I keep hearing about. What is the burger meal I keep hearing about? You get your gas station. What? Burger meal? Used to make corned beef from scratch. Grandma had beef, pork, chicken, or turkey in it, and everything else. Awesome. I was always on meat grinder duty. Yeah, trying to catch up in chat here. Volta says, well, I want to get this Montreal smoked beef down to science. Canned or potted meat is gross, like gag me with a spoon. Occasionally, I'll get a little bit of a hankering for some potted meat, and I can just sit there and eat that, But I only want so much of that. Well, I really want some real meat, some beef. Can't afford to eat steaks, but three burger patties is like $6 at Walmart. So, or not Walmart, at McDonald's. So it comes, it's cooked, and that's not too horrible for a meal. Like today, that's what I had. I had that block of Havarti with the 3 burger patties from McDonald's this afternoon. And then for breakfast this morning, I had a tub of sour cream, like a 16-ounce tub of sour cream. And I dipped pork rinds in it. They were flavored pork rinds. Like this store here, not Walmart, has a more variety of pork rinds than I've seen anywhere else before. And one of them was I just tried this Korean barbecue flavored. Wasn't too bad. Wasn't too bad. It was okay. But you gotta watch out for the spices and shit they put and stuff, though. Spam is the closest I'll get to. No, I can't stand spam, man. I like potted meat more than I like spam. Because I can just sit there and get a little spoon and eat potted meat. Spam is just, I just don't like it. It sucks. Oops. Potted. Spam will make you pooted meat. Squatch Talk is here. There's Pat. What's up, Pat? Jen says, for all the camp trips this summer, I'm going to buy a can of canned beef that's just in its juices. See how it is, because not like I'm packing steaks for the road. Yeah. You could. I mean, if you get a good ice chest and ice down some steaks, you could take some steaks on the road. Salt them down really good, and they'll come out more tender. Put them in some Ziplocs, salt them down, and put them in some Ziplocs, and then I sit down and it's rarely get steak. I go and get 2 quarter-pound patties and 2 slices of cabin on them. The McDonald's in towns has to source the beef locally as a stipulation. Yeah, it's a good choice for a carnivore. Just get burger patties at McDonald's, and it's a good internet cafe kind of situation. Every table's got an outlet I can plug into, charge my spare battery, charge my laptop, charge my cell phone, charge my other spare battery. And really good Wi-Fi. I like on the Wi-Fi I had before, it would take forever. Where I was usually at, it would take all night to download one 3-hour live stream or something. It'd take all night, and then it might fail. It takes like 2 minutes down here, if that. It'll download or upload. 3-hour long videos, no problem. It's crazy. So I'm very happy with that. Fault the BS. Fuck all that. I take ribeyes to camp. Yeah, man, ribeyes are one of the very best health foods that people can eat today. And, it's just messed up that people try to demonize red meat. And there's no science to back it up. It's illegal to conduct the type of studies necessary to even prove that, because it's unethical to conduct those kind of studies on humans. And yet they're sitting here, oh, well, we know because epidemiological study. No, epidemiological just is a fucking questionnaire. You don't know shit from epidemiological studies. I hesitate to even call it a study. It's a goddamn questionnaire. And you cannot, without putting a person in a box and keeping them there for 20 or 30 years, you don't know how much they smoked, how much alcohol they've had. You don't know what kind of sides they had with all those steaks. Were they eating potatoes and macaroni and cheese and buns and baked beans, all of which are poisonous to humans and will give you diabetes. You don't factor out any of that shit. Epidemiological studies, they can't prove this whole connection of red meat to cancer and all this. It's just such bullshit. The archaeology proves that for thousands upon thousands of years we had these big ass fucking spears and we were killing big ass fucking animals with it. We're designed to eat tons and tons of fatty red meat. There wasn't a salad bar. Potatoes hadn't been discovered yet. Corn hadn't been selectively bred to be the evil thing it is today. It was this little fucking spriggy little thing. Corn today isn't natural at all. It's completely a design thing. It was selectively bred to be tightly packed, big kernels, sweeter kernels, and it can't even survive in nature because all the corn sprouts while still stuck to the cob, and they can't all grow to adults, so they don't survive. And then, of course, they started genetically engineering it, and it's just all fucked up now. But corn was never natural for humans to eat in the first place. It's just, I can't believe they actually tried to demonize meat. So it's so fucking obvious that that's what humans are designed to eat. And Sasquatch, by the way, assuming Sasquatch is real. Jen says, I would much rather prefer ribeye. No argument there, Pat. Yeah. It's just affording them. It tracks Bigfoot every time because, they are just right there every time. That's a whole... I think a lot of those people are just making shit up and Bigfoot's here. You're talking to woodpeckers and squirrels and trees creaking and probably frogs, like you said, because some of these frogs' vocalizations are really odd sounds, and coyotes in some cases. They're probably talking to coyotes or mountain lions or bobcats or all kinds of bullshit that these people are talking to. They're not talking to Bigfoot. These people are very amateur woodsmen, right? If you can call them woodsmen. They've gone out there with Bigfoot on the brain, and every fucking sound they hear is a Bigfoot all of a sudden. They think, oh, I had these interactions with Bigfoot. Well, did you see the Bigfoot making the sound? No. Well, you didn't have no fucking interaction with a Bigfoot that you can confirm, so how about you stop talking like you had a confirmed Bigfoot encounter? You don't know. You didn't see the Bigfoot. You heard a sound. You don't know Bigfoot made the sound. How about you stop making us all look like morons for even talking about Bigfoot? Because that's what a lot of sensible people see when they see that shit. They're like, oh, these people are fucking nuts. Which I find very distressing. Pat says red meat is amazing, but I love all the other stuff too. Yeah, it's funny though. If you get to a strictly carnivore diet for a few months, you start having everything becomes less appetizing. You know, like occasionally I'll get a craving for something, you know, like the potato chips, and I'll get the potato chips, and I'm like, fuck this shit. You know, I'll go ahead and finish it, but it's like no, I want some fucking meat. You know, and like I said, told them about my brother. He went fully carnivore, and he won't even touch cheese anymore. All it is beef and eggs, and that's it. That's literally it. He can eat all he wants. He's never hungry, and he just doesn't want anything else anymore. The body figures out, like, once you give the body what it's designed to run on, it's like, shit, dude, why were you eating this other shit to start with? You know, like my appetite for chicken is pretty much gone. I don't really want it anymore. I used to eat the shit out of this canned chicken I got. I don't want it no more. It's just sitting here. I'll have to force myself to kind of eat it just so it don't go bad. But I want beef, because humans are designed to eat fatty red meat animals, and that's just, red meat in moderation is rubbish. Yeah. You can eat as much as you want, and you will, like I told everybody before, when I went 100% fatty meat, I was eating as much meat as I want. There's no calorie counting. Calories have nothing to do with human physiology. That was always bullshit from the very beginning. Calories has nothing to do with human physiology. And I stopped doing cardio at the gym because I hate doing cardio. And I still continued to lose weight, because the body will naturally go to whatever its natural composition is supposed to be if you just eat what you're naturally supposed to eat. Volta BS says, it's funny, Squatch watchers have interaction all the time but can't buy a FLIR to confirm they're LARPers, plain and simple. Yeah. That's why I always ask about Bigfoot stuff. Where's the proof? Yeah. Don't even have craving to eat a lot. Only a cheat day. It's like a hangover for a day or two. Yeah. After a while, I mean, you and me both probably end up regretting every cheat meal over and over again until we just stop doing a cheat meal, you know. You know, we just stopped doing it. If I start thinking, I'd like to go to the Chinese restaurant, I'm getting to where I'm like, you know what, fuck that. That happened today. I was like, you know, I'd really like to have some of them rice noodles. I always loved them rice noodles, but then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go down here to McDonald's and eat some goddamn beef with some cheese and call it good. That's what I did. We need to get on to the Pharaoh's Curse thing. It's a long article. I probably won't read the whole thing. Probably hit it fast. Get to the basic point of it and then move on. Walt says, Lucky, you are in the heart of street racing. Go out and film some races. Well, I don't know. I mean, I did see someone in a high-speed chase with the cops started right in front of where I work. I don't know why he was running from him, but so y'all heard about this curse, you know, where all the scientists that get around this this tomb end up eventually getting sick and dying. And some people think it's legitimately a curse, but those of us who think that there's probably a scientific explanation for shit, don't necessarily buy into that. So this was off the Daily Mail. Obviously, I took it off the Daily Mail and stuck it into my own deal here because it's just easier to see it. There's so much clutter on Daily Mail. Sometimes I just rather and I edited it a little bit here and there because the way they don't edit shit worth a damn, and I couldn't stand it. So I edited some parts of it. So it isn't exactly in what it was, but I fixed it. I fixed some of it. Scientist cracks the cause of the Pharaoh's curse that killed more than 20 people who opened King Tut's tomb in 1922. The scientist claims to have done this. He caught the cause of the curse that was believed that it killed more than 20 people who opened King Tut's tomb in 1922. Ancient Egyptian text threatens death by a disease that no doctor can who disturbs royal mummified remains. But Ross Fellows has suggested there was a biological reason behind the deaths. The study determined the cause was radiation poisoning from natural elements containing uranium and toxic waste that was deliberately put inside the sealed vault. Exposure to substances could have led to certain cancers, like the one that took the life of archaeologist Howard Carter, the first person to walk inside Tut's tomb more than 100 years ago. The theory effectively proves that the tomb was indeed cursed, although in a deliberate biological way, rather than in a supernatural manner that has been suggested by some ancient Egyptologists. Carter died in 1939, likely of a heart attack after a long battle with Hodgkin's lymphoma, which impacts the germ-fighting immune system of the body, and radiation poisoning as a cause of the cancer. Lord Carnarvon, one of the men who also walked through the treasure-filled rooms, died from blood poisonings 5 months after the discovery. He suffered a severe mosquito bite, which became infected after a razor cut. What the fuck? Shortly after the tomb was opened, there was a short power failure, and all the lights throughout Cairo went out. Carnarvon's son also reported that his favorite dog howled and suddenly dropped dead. Other people involved in the excavation died of asphyxia, stroke, diabetes, heart failure, pneumonia, poisoning, malaria, and X-ray exposure. They all passed in their 50s. British Egyptologist Arthur Weigel attended the opening of the Tut's tomb, where he was accused of inciting the myth of the curse. He died of cancer at 54 years old. However, inscriptions found inside other burials throughout Egypt suggested the ancient people knew about the toxins. The text included areas were forbidden because of evil spirits. So, I mean, obviously, these people couldn't have. Somebody had to know what this stuff was. If they purposely put radioactive materials in here to make people sick and make it seem like there was a curse. So a lot of people would believe that there were evil spirits because they didn't know what was going on. But somebody knew. Somebody knew what this stuff was. So this is a long article. Again, we've been going too long, so I'm not going to read all this. But oh, come on, pictures failed. Anyway, there's a bunch of containers of material that they haven't analyzed yet. Apparently, I don't know why they haven't analyzed it yet, but they need to. And of course, they have to talk about how they think he was the product of a brother-sister union. But yeah, so it's not a real curse. It's not a real curse. Probably. They talk about radon gas here. Down here it says other studies have directly measured radon gas at various locations in tombs at Saqqara. Radon gas is an intermediate product of uranium decay with a half-life of 3.8 days. So another theory, I might suggest is that the entire area, if you dig down and you build a tomb underground, you're going to be interacting with some radioactive substances that are going to make you sick. And all these people knew is that if you went in these tombs, you got sick. They didn't know why. So again, it becomes evil spirits again, right? It becomes a curse. Let's see. Where were we at? Here? Were we here? Don't even have a craving to eat a lot on a cheat. Oh, I already read that one. Street racing. Pat, go on. So Mr. Lee leaves. Well, no, man, I'm ready to wrap it up. We've been going over 2 hours. I got one more subject to hit, and then I want to wrap her up. It's 2 hours is plenty. Jen says, Donald, I had a little bit of pasta a few weeks ago. I used to love it. Didn't even taste the same now. Oh, well. Pat says, why would Lee? He always goes to Moe's and Moe's tarts. That's traitor. Mr. Lee's a traitor. Yeah, goes to Moe's. Traitor. Ultimately, says, Jen, I went through that back. It had fries and onion rings. Salt was terrible on the fries, and the onion rings taste like strong garlic. They got given to a friend I met there. Mr. Lee bailing on us again. Like I says, your audio is getting all cattywampus. Yeah, I know. I'm having some signal degradation up in here. Went hot for a minute. Yeah. Oh, so my son tried your fatty meat only diet for a month. He really liked it. He's a fitness instructor, so did it just to show others. Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully it goes longer. I mean, because you really, the problem, that's the problem, because there's certain things that take a long time to work out because you've been poisoning yourself your whole life. Like with some of these oils that people, they've been eating vegetable oils, canola oil, peanut oil, corn oil, all these oils. And when these oils, they get into your cells, and it takes a long time to work them out of your cells. Like it'll take years and years to get those toxic oils out of your cells. So your only chance of getting to some of the most optimal health you've ever had is to do it for years. And so that's something people need to consider. There's little doorways in and out of themselves, and getting stuff in and out can be problematic at times. Once it's in there, you're yeah. Dude's got a package. What the hell? Still haven't seen anyone die from radon. Raptor says, how about the air that was sealed in the casket, however many years it was, make you sick? Yep. Yep. They seem to be thinking radiation. Never knew radon could be a quick sickness. Well, I mean, the radon is, degraded uranium, so possibly there's some radiation from uranium that we're dealing with here. Not so much the radon. Time to clean up the kitchen. Be listening. Have a great night, everybody. You too, Jen. So what was the other subject? The other topic. Oh yeah. I got this on there. There we go. This is also on the Daily Mail, by the way. The morbid theory explaining why aliens have not contacted us on Earth. The prevailing theory in the world is the reason why aliens haven't contacted us is because they look at our reality TV, they look at our news, and they're like, yeah, fuck these guys, we don't want to talk to them. The speculation, the article reads here, the speculation that some form of alien life exists beyond our planet goes back to ancient Greece and Rome, yet humans have still not made contact. There have been various theories, including the loony proposal that human-level intelligence is totally unique in the universe, but one scientist has revealed a more likely scenario. Alien civilizations were destroyed by gamma-ray burst. GRBs are immensely energetic explosions that have been observed in distant galaxies, occurring when the core of a massive star runs out of nuclear fuel and collapses under its own weight, unleashing a massive supernova of radiation. It's a tightly focused beam, astronomy professor Dr. Frederick Walter told Daily Mail. And if it's directed through the plane of the galaxy, it could basically sterilize about 10% of the planets in the galaxy. It's just one of many possible explanations, he noted. So, sort of morbid, I suppose. Yeah, I don't want any part of one of those. That'll fuck us up. That's our gamma ray telescope. Typical burst delivers a bright beam of directed energy, 1 quintillion, 1 followed by 19 zeros. 19 zeros, not to be confused with 1 quadrillion or 1 sextillion or even 1 septillion or 1 octillion. It is 1 quintillion. Times the brightness of our own sun, more than enough, in other words, to burn an extraterrestrial civilization clean off its perch in the galaxy. Fortunately, based on decades of research by NASA's Orbital Compton Gamma Ray Observatory, gamma ray bursts are relatively rare in our home galaxy, the Milky Way. When the Compton Observatory satellite was launched in 1991, NASA researchers expected to see more GRBs emanating from our pancake-shaped galactic disk. But the reality proved to be that these explosive supernova events were much more common in younger, distant galaxies, still hot in the process of forming new stars, or in the case of long-duration GRBs, transforming collapsing stars into black holes. It's estimated that there is a gamma ray burst every 100 million years or so in any galaxy, according to Dr. Walter, who has taught a course on the search for extraterrestrial life at Stony Brook University in New York. Over 1 billion years on average, you might expect a significant number of civilizations to be eradicated, he said, should they exist. So, bad deal, I guess. Other estimates have suggested that gamma ray bursts could occur as frequently as every 10 million years per galaxy, but either range would mean that many alien species could be wiped out before they get a chance to do much space exploration. The Stony Brook astronomer pointed out that planet Earth is approximately 4.5 billion years old and took nearly that long to evolve the only technologically advanced species humanity currently has proof of, humanity itself. That would mean, like a game of Russian roulette, the Milky Way is estimated to have experienced anywhere from 45 to 450 local GRB events in Earth's history. Some geophysicists and other researchers, in fact, have argued that either Earth's Ordovician and or its Devonian mass extinctions approximately 359 to 455 million years ago may have been the result of a blast of gamma rays from just such a collapsing star or black hole forming event. But Dr. Walter emphasized that this is just one hypothesis for why humanity has yet to officially discover signs of an extraterrestrial civilization somewhere out there in the universe. Although these supernova blasts can be apocalyptically deadly, Dr. Walter advised that any potential threat to humanity from a GRB is not worth worrying about. They're rare and they're directed, which makes them much less likely to hit Earth, the astronomer said, and it's not something you can prepare for. Gamma ray bursts were first recorded in 1967 via a pair of U.S. Vela satellites in operation to detect evidence of any Soviet nuclear test might have been conducted in defiance of the 1963 Nuclear Test Ban Treaty. 2 years later, the odd burst came to the notice of a team at Los Alamos National Laboratory, who later pioneered the lab's gamma-ray astronomy group. While the hypothesized ancient GRP burst that hit Earth hundreds of millions of years ago would have annihilated and dissolved the DNA of any living thing on the planet, today the distant radiation from faraway GRBs mostly leaves telltale evidence in the form of bright star-like flashes or gamma-ray particle evidence in our ionosphere. In the 74 years since nuclear physicist Enrico Fermi first wondered why, in a universe theoretically teeming with life, humanity was yet to empirically detect any of it, possible solutions to his famous Fermi paradox have proliferated. One book by University of Portsmouth physicist Stephen Webb explored 75 viable explanations currently in play, from the terrifying example all aliens are hiding from a deadly predator civilization to the mundane space travel is too hard. There are a lot of ways around this, Dr. Walter said. One example he noted was that a highly advanced aquatic species on another world, like whales or dolphins here on Earth, would be unlikely to develop technology needed for space travel, despite large brains and powerful social skills. If you live underwater, as he told Daily Mail, you're not going to play around with electricity. I'm going to call bullshit on that, but whatever. Alternatively, a wise but risk-averse civilization might simply decide that it may not be worth it to travel between the stars and to look for other aliens. Dr. Walter says electing instead to focus inwards and form their own little utopia on their home world. But one of the most common theories among physicists and astronomers, according to Dr. Walter, is that technologically advanced civilizations might be universally prone to killing themselves off, whether through mismanagement, greed, war, or worse. Just look around, the astronomer said. We're polluting the atmosphere. We're making it questionable as to whether we're going to have a viable civilization in a century unless we do something drastic. If civilizations tend to evolve in the same way that they have on our planet, then that's going to hit everybody, Dr. Walter continued, opining. Our technology exceeds our wisdom, perhaps. I would guess that's the leading theory, he said. But look, it's all speculation. We have one example. That's us. If one takes the 19th century Industrial Revolution as humanity's first leap into the ranks of technologically advanced species, Dr. Walter noted that we have only thus far made it through about 150 years. There's always a risk we're not going to make it through another 1 or 150 years. Yeah. Speculate. Aliens, says Raptor. Yep, aliens. Jen, we know you mod Moog, says Volta BS. She's on Moogs too. Yeah. Haven't been there in a while. You can go look. I got stuff to do, says Jen. Volta BS says, that's good, Jen. His show is nothing but a chat session for people in chat. He needs to get guests that aren't full of poop like Bigfoot King. Fun chat over there. Okay, Sinks full time to do the dishes. While you're doing your dishes, contemplate the reality, the real universe, what it's really all about. As you look at the soap bubbles in the sink, you will notice that every soap bubble has the same reflection on it. You might see yourself in the reflection, the lights above your head, the ceiling, every single one. And every living thing in existence is also the same as that soap bubble. Each of those soap bubbles are a piece of everything. They're a reflection of everything, as are we. It's hard for some people to wrap their minds around that entire concept, that the universe itself is a giant neural network. Instantaneous action at a distance, connecting every point in the universe instantaneously. Information is transferred. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance because that plagiarist moron did not understand how in the fuck instantaneous action at a distance could exist in his idea of the universe, where the speed of light was a constant, which it's not. Experimental evidence proves it's not, and it's the speed limit on everything. Well, you can't have a speed limit as abysmally slow as the average speed of light if you have also instantaneous action at a distance, which clearly shows that information is being transferred from one point to another at no speed at all, because it's instantaneous. Now, part of this, understanding what's really going on is that the distance isn't real, right? It's only perceived. Our reality only functions the way it does because we perceive the distance, which gets me to, okay, why aren't we detecting alien species? Well, sort of. Why have space travel when it's potentially possible to where you can perceive any point in space once you develop the techniques and the science to understand how to perceive any point in space without having to travel there? Why would you travel for years out of your life at abysmally slow speeds below light speed, the average speed of light, when you can just project your consciousness to any point in the universe and experience that way? Now our culture hasn't mastered this, not yet, but apparently a few people know how to do it to some extent. Just they're not masters. I don't think they're masters, but yeah. And it may be possible that a lot of civilizations get kind of like I am, looking at this reality and feeling like, it's pointless to stay here. Once you understand how reality actually functions, you're like, I don't want to fucking stay here. It's stupid to stay here. Part of the point is, this is the reason why your brain blocks your memory of being part of the one consciousness, the universal consciousness, right? Your brain isolates you as an individual so that you can have individual, unique experiences, I would guess. Like, it's really, can't really truly understand why this is. Maybe it's all just by chance that this developed, and it's not really the universe trying to understand itself or trying to process unique perspectives of things. But yeah, you don't. Once you understand the universe well enough that you understand what I'm trying to say here, you kind of don't want to be in this reality anymore. And the pointlessness of it, because I don't know. I mean, most people that are going about, they have no clue. They're not thinking remotely down these lines. A few people say some things that sound somewhat correct, but they just stumbled upon it. They don't actually understand the science behind this stuff. How many people out there, like a lot of people have heard of instantaneous action at a distance, quantum entanglement, all that's bullshit, quantum bullshit. But it's a incorrect interpretation of correct observations. That's what's going on there. But they never think about it in the terms, is what I'm trying to tell you here. You have instantaneous action at a distance between 2 points. That means information was transferred. And if that's the case for every point, all points in the universe are instantaneously connected to each other and capable of transferring information, that is a neural network of a scale just unimaginable to a tiny little human like us. It is a mind. It is consciousness. We're all a piece of it. Our brain is designed to keep us isolated as individuals. When you engage in the training that Ken Wheeler will tell you about, or cheat by using psychedelic substances, you can fiddle with the dial on the radio, because this is not a radio station. Your consciousness is not broadcast from your brain. Your brain picks up the signals. That is what you call your consciousness. You're tuned into a station, right? The station is you. It's all Jen all the time. Until you take some mushrooms or some LSD or some ayahuasca, some NN-DMT or 5-MeO-DMT. All these things are fiddling with the dials on the radio, right? They're fucking up your tuning. And the way they're doing it is it's opening you up to more frequencies than you're normally supposed to be connected to. You know, this is kind of why you get this whole, like, the doors and all that. It's one of the explanations I try to use to try to get people to understand. Normally, think of your mind as a house. It has windows and doors, but they're all closed. And you're isolated as an individual most of the time. But then you use some mushrooms over here, and that's kind of like opening one of the windows so you can see out and get some exposure to what's going on in the rest of the consciousness of the universe. It's not just a little piece that's your little corner of the infinite vastness of the mind of the universe. And then maybe you use some LSD and you open another window, and then one day you get a hold of some really powerful stuff and you start using some NN-DMT, and you open the front door and you got a lot of exposure there. And then one day somebody tells you, well, you can keep using what we call the spirit molecule, NN-DMT, or you can really try something crazy and use the God molecule, what they call the God molecule, which is 5-MeO-DMT, which is the same substance that they find in that toad venom, sorry. They call it the God molecule. That's just their understanding of what they're experiencing. And they call it total ego death, where their individuality completely goes away and they just basically just rejoin the universe, the universal consciousnesses. That's the term I typically kind of think of using. I don't know what better term to use. Some people might refer to the universal consciousness as God. I'm not going to do that, but some people would. That's why they call it the God molecule, because your individuality disappears. You rejoin the universal consciousness and realize you are a part of everything. Everyone is a part of the one consciousness, and you're all one. And you realize that if that's God, if that universal consciousness is God, you are a piece of God. The God molecule. And the God molecule is not like opening a window or a door. You have blown down the house. The house is completely obliterated for about 15 minutes. Your individuality is completely gone. And when you come back, you know, when the effects wear off, you can't, your little human consciousness cannot really comprehend all that you were exposed to. You're going to forget a lot of it, and you're not really going to fully understand everything you saw. Hopefully you come back with a piece or two or something useful, but most people don't. A lot of people are out there using this shit recreationally, and that's just a tragedy, because there's probably far better ways to utilize that substance. But now if you go talk to Ken Wheeler about all this stuff, do not talk to him about psychedelics. He doesn't want to talk about it. He wants you to, if you want to engage in this kind of stuff, if you want to reconnect with the rest of the universal consciousness, you need to train yourself to do it. Don't do the shortcuts through the psychedelics. That's what Ken would tell you to do. He doesn't like talking about any kind of drugs. He will not talk about any kind of drugs. He don't even want to talk about alcohol. he doesn't like any of it. So don't do that. But that's a crash course on universal consciousness, and you can see a little clue to it in the soap bubbles in your sink, which is wild. Which is wild. We're all a tiny reflection of the entire universe. Icon says, I emailed you, explaining why aliens won't visit anymore. Because aliens aren't real. Volta BS says, I'd like to know if Paulie is okay. He was going through some rough times, and Uncle Bones I'm concerned about also. He hasn't answered my emails. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with him either, Donald. Hopefully we can find out. You've had a fallout with Nikki. Well, y'all kiss and make up. That's deep. Jen says deep. That's deep block. Nice one. Now my phone screen is wet. What? How'd that happen? Did I arouse you? What? Oops. Heard Funko Bones right off the phone. At least screen is done. Dish soap clean. Donald, I worried about him. Checked my video message a bit. Not like him. Did hear from Sam. Yeah, we haven't heard from him in a while, so something's up. Either his internet got shut down, or hopefully that's all it is, and maybe storm took out his power. Shorts and videos. Fist says, I tried Salvia divinorum once, and that was enough for me. Yeah. Awesome. Hope she's doing good. Thanks God it was only 10 to 15 minute trip. Yeah, a lot of people just aren't ready for that shit. You know, like occasionally you get some really good insight out of Joe Rogan. He talks about, when he talked about psychedelics, he said, a lot of times you get out of it what you take with you. So if you go into it with some darkness in your head, you might not get a good experience. Volta BS says, Lockbeard, are you saying the fever hallucinations I had when I was a kid were another reality? You know, potentially you weren't experiencing real hallucinations. You were experiencing an expanded perception of reality. You were seeing beyond what you're normally meant to see. So, yeah. Icon says, I tried Salvia once and the shit made my balls crawl. What the? What? Wait, your balls aren't supposed to crawl? That's news to me. That is news to me. Never again, huh? Sleeping Beauty's here. Welcome. Not even remotely fun, says Icon. Fist says it made shrooms and acid like a kindergarten trip. Vault says, I loved boomers in my 20s. My gut hurt so bad from laughing all night. Pink Floyd, The Wall was a watch. Terror. Boomers were fun. Farted my brains out. There wasn't a dry eye in the house. What the hell? Fist says, I was so relieved to come back and I was tricked into it. They said it was weed fuckers, some friends. Turn no. We'll go dark. I don't want. I know y'all can't see me very well, but we'll probably wrap up here in a little bit. Balls coming, yeah. Icon says, okay, listening in, have to fix a video rejected by copyright censors. Yeah. But yeah, so I wonder sometimes if I should, how much I should, because, I mean, the reality is Ken's already trying to tell people the true nature of reality. And, but sometimes I wonder about the wisdom of that. Is it wise? is it wise to inform people about that? What the true nature of reality is? You know, are they going to feel the way I do, that our existence is utterly fucking pointless? You know, someone who had less of a will to live might just, you know, well, you know. Now, I'm not going to do that, but I'm just saying, you know, I look around and I see this game going on around, and I see, you know, people repeating history. Like, you know, you learn enough about history, you start to, you know, realize how much history repeats itself over and over again. You know how they say insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Well, these assholes aren't even expecting a different result. They don't even realize they're doing shit over and over again. They're just dumbasses that don't know dick about fuck. You know, these communists in the universities, and it's all been done before. You know, I see reality, and it's an endless cycle. It's an endless cycle over and over again, the same thing over and over and over and over. It's madness. Our civilization in decline. Chances of saving the United States are pretty slim. Maybe we save it, I don't know. But if this bullshit continues on, what's been happening, everyone might be fighting for their lives very soon against 100 different cultures that have invaded here, who don't give a shit about the United States, about the Constitution. They sure don't give a shit about you. They all they care about is themselves and what they can take here. And if that means they bust in your house, steal all your money, kill your dog, rape your daughter, well, shit, that stuff's already happening. It just hasn't gotten big enough to where everybody has stopped denying it. Voltabia says, I'm surprised I haven't got hit with a copyright using Benny Hill music. Icon says, I think it's copyright free. All I know Debbie Does Dallas is. What the hell? And how do you know that? Fist says, Charlie Kirk versus the university kids is fun. And the fact that many do nothing with their degrees or even get a degree, many wasting time. Well, we talked about last night, wasn't it? Or maybe the night before. You know, about a bunch of them that invaded that building, and they won't be getting their degrees. They're expelled. I wonder if that was part of their plan. Icon says, if you used yakety sax from Boots Randolph, you'd probably get a strike. Vault says, thank you, Lockbeard. Gotta check Mogs. Maybe Bigfoot King can give me some more shorts. Some videos are free with sound and use some and not. And you have to show your YouTube proof for sound or video. You got plain that you purchased it. Icon says, I worked in the industry. I know these things. Volta BS says, Icon, that's what I use, plus many. All right. I'm wiped out. At this point, I don't know what my schedule is past Saturday, so I don't know when the next live stream will be. But so, keep your eyes open. Somebody figure out what's happened to Uncle Bones. Where's Uncle Bones? And I will see you guys next time.